So for the rest of the week, everyone is going to have an eye on Jordan Love's status and if he's able to play on Sunday. It sounds pretty crazy, but after Matt LaFleur yesterday mentioned that Malik Willis would start if Jordan Love was unable to play on Sunday, I think that it brought the chances of him playing on Sunday up a little bit in my mind. We'd seen reports maybe 3 or 4 weeks, but considering LaFleur said that, it could be sooner. I know some people brought up, maybe it's just his gamemanship, and he's trying to give the Titans more to prepare for, so that they have to prepare for Malik Willis and Jordan Love. That could be, and that would make sense as well. But I think that there is a chance Love plays on Sunday. I would say it's a low chance, but based off of some injury information I saw earlier today, I want to share this before I get into Malik Willis, which I want to talk about mainly in this video. But there was an interesting tweet I saw this morning put out by @TitletownRain on Twitter. And they went back. I don't know if they found this information. I assume they did, or someone else had it out there. But they looked at the players since 2015 who had an MCL sprain and how many games they ended up missing. And I tweeted on Twitter, or X, which it's called now officially. If you want to follow me there, @LukeBeller3. I share lots of Packers stats and things like that. And so here's what I said. Interesting stats on QBs with MCL sprains. This is from Titletown Rain. 10 of 15 listed didn't miss a game. So 10 of 15 players that they tracked since 2015 with an MCL sprain did not miss a game. So first off, that gives it, just based on history, there could be a chance that Love does play on Sunday. Of course, it depends on the severity. 4 of 15 quarterbacks missed 2 games, and then 1 of 15 quarterbacks missed 1 game. So I think there's a massive reason for optimism that Love could play in this game. I would say it's a lower chance. I think the Packers are probably going to lean more towards being safe if they don't think Jordan Love is ready. 4 of 15 missed 2 games, so I would say 0 to 2 games makes the most sense. And so if Love is out on Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts, what can we potentially expect to see from Malik Willis? It's tough to tell just because Malik Willis is still a very young player. Only started in 3 games in the NFL in the past couple seasons. All 3 starts were in his rookie season. And so there's not too much to look from. And you also don't know how much he's developed since then, how much he's grown. He did throw 3 interceptions, 0 touchdowns in his first 3 starts in the NFL back in his first season. But I think a good thing is that the defense the Packers are playing on Sunday, the Colts defense, did not have a very good first week. They were facing the Houston Texans, who I do think will probably end up as one of the best offenses in the NFL. But the Colts defense allowed 29 points to the Texans. The Texans ran the ball for 203 yards. So I think the Packers, especially with Malik Willis being out there, the Packers probably have a little bit better of an idea of what Malik Willis can and can't do from what they've seen and watched, bringing him into Green Bay and watching him in practice the past couple weeks. But clearly, one of the Colts' weaknesses is their rushing defense just based off of week 1. Joe Mixon ran 30 times for 159 yards and 5.3 yards a carry. And considering the Packers on last Friday night against the Eagles, they ended up with the most yards per carry in the NFL in week 1 at 7.8 yards per carry. So I think the clear, obvious answer is for the Packers to rely on the running game, which they do a lot anyways, but especially with a young quarterback who doesn't have a lot of experience, if you can let the running game be his friend, that is obviously best case scenario, and I think that the Packers should be able to take advantage of the Indianapolis Colts on the ground. I think earlier in the game, the Packers weren't really run blocking that well against the Eagles, but as time went on, they got a lot better. Jacobs finished with 5.3 yards a carry. Emmanuel Wilson, 4 carries, 46 yards, 11.5 yards a carry. And Jaden Reed, of course, 1 carry, 33 yards, and a touchdown. And then you also have to factor in Malik Willis and his running ability. That is definitely one of his strengths, and coming out of college, that was one of his strengths as well. And I want to read here a scouting report from Daniel Jeremiah from his top 50 players in 2022, and he had Malik Willis 27th. And let me just read this because I still think it gives a pretty good idea of what people expected from Malik Willis and where he needed to improve. But here's what Jeremiah said. Willis is a thick, sturdy quarterback with elite arm strength and playmaking ability. He has quick feet in his setup, and he throws from a wide, firm base. He usually releases the ball out of a 3-4 arm slot, and it jumps out of his hand. He generates incredible RPMs and flashes the ability to fit passes into tight windows. His accuracy is inconsistent. Now I'm going to stop for a second. So I think that's the one thing I'm wondering. Based on some of his games early in his career, he was making some pretty poor decisions out there. And I think typically from rookie quarterbacks, it takes a while to be able to read NFL defenses. But that's one of his issues coming out of college, is his inaccuracy. And Jeremiah continues, at times he gets too wide with his feet and the ball sails to the perimeter. He has shown the ability to change ball speed, but he can improve on layer throws. He misses out on some completions because his throws are too flat. He's effective extending and creating against pressure, which he faced a ton of. He's outstanding on QB draws, powers, and zone reads. He has a burst and pulls through tackles. Overall, Willis is a work in progress, but he has the most upside on any QB in this class. So there's no telling. If you've Googled Malik Willis' highlights since he got traded to Green Bay, he is an insane athlete. His ability to break away from the pocket, his ability to run the ball, whether it's a design QB run, whether it's a read option, whether he's scrambling, that's definitely his strong suit, is his rushing ability. And so I wouldn't be shocked if the Packers leaned into that against the Colts on Sunday, who already struggled stopping the run. And if we see some more kind of read options and maybe even some design runs, I think that would be a smart way to get Malik Willis going and get him trusting himself and sort of getting acclimated to the game, because he barely has any experience. And that's, I think, where the worry is with Malik Willis starting, if Jordan Love, of course, doesn't play on Sunday, is, what kind of decisions is he going to make when he's throwing the ball? Because I think the Colts, they have a pretty good offense. Anthony Richardson is a talented quarterback. I still think he has a ways to go to reach what his peak could be, because he had some insanely good throws on Sunday. And he's not completely accurate all the time, but he is an insane athlete, talking about Anthony Richardson. So I would assume the Packers don't want Malik Willis having to put the team on his back, throwing the ball. And they probably want to, start out with some screens, start him with some more short passes, and not really force him to have to, consistently push the ball down the field and risk turning the ball over. Because I think that with this Packers defense, they sort of struggled a lot against the Eagles. But I feel like if Malik Willis can just have I'd say average day passing the ball, maybe no more than 1 turnovers, then I think the Packers can win this game, especially if they can get the running game going. And at the same time, saying all that, we don't know how much Malik Willis has developed. He looked really good in the preseason. And so I think that as the game goes by, maybe Matt LaFleur can sort of see what he's doing well, what he isn't doing well, if he feels comfortable, calling some more aggressive type plays down the field, which I think LaFleur was a little hesitant, even last year with Jordan Love, to dial up some of those kind of plays. And the more he did, the more Jordan Love started to improve. And so with Willis, I'm curious to see sort of how Matt LaFleur decides to adapt to that. But I do think the Packers have a chance, even with Malik Willis starting, just because of what he offers on the ground, how good this Packers rushing attack is, and also, important to note, is how good this Packers receiver core is, which we all know. Even if they lose one guy to injury, if they were to, they still have a lot of weapons. Wicks didn't do too much on last Friday, but I still think he's a solid receiver, and we can't count him out. Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs. So Malik Willis is coming into a very, very good situation, a solid pass-blocking offensive line, and I'm honestly pretty excited to see what he can do if he does start once again, because we don't fully know that he's going to. But if I had to guess right now, I'd probably say he would, based on the Packers being somewhat conservative with injuries. And so if Willis does start, I expect to run the ball a lot, to get Willis going on the ground, and then sort of see how he is as a passer. That's the thing I'm most intrigued by coming into Sunday's matchup against a Colts defense that struggled in their first game of the season. But if you guys want more Packers content, you can follow me on Twitter at LukeBeller3 for more stats and posting some film as well over there. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any Packers content. I also made a video earlier today on the Jets game last night in Aaron Rodgers, so you can check that out. I posted on a second channel, and I'll link the video right up here if you want to check that out. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.